welcome to another live session for Earthworks Hub. It's Sunday, the 26th of May 2024. I did finally make a set time, so I've set it for 8 o'clock, and I can see by the amount of people attending that it's definitely much better than doing it earlier. So we're definitely going to keep it at 8 o'clock, and I can tell a lot of people have been sending me comments during the week saying, yeah, definitely do a set time and definitely do it a bit later. So I suppose Sunday night, everyone has to have their dinner, and then after dinner, everyone sort of winds down. So a lot better choice, I reckon. So yeah, thank you again for joining. For everyone that saw me during the week, I've still been doing my live sessions during the week while I'm operating. So I appreciate all the people that came on there. We had heaps of people on this week, heaps of people, and heaps of new followers. So thank you to everyone that's been following. Just a quick shout out to all my sponsors. So Network Finance, the Bole Group, Melbourne Tractors, Spartan Machinery, Nexgen Landscapes, and JR Safety Co. Have to give a big shout out to all those guys. Definitely check them out. If you need to use any of their services, go to my website, www.earthworkshub.com.au, and you'll see them on the front page. You'll see all the sponsors on there. So if you need any of their services, definitely go on. If you need any other Earthworks services, also go to earthworkshub.com.au, and you can look through all the business listings on there and use their services, because if you want to support Earthworks Hub and support each other, definitely do that. And also put your businesses on there. So I know I spruik it every week, but definitely make sure that you go on and list your businesses on there so we can all use your services, yeah? So as usual, I'm going to go through a couple of things. I'll go through my week, then I'll go through a topic. And this week's topic, you will want to hang around for this topic because I reckon it's a good one. And there's some more people putting topics up. Keep those topics for a little bit later. Let me just go through the boring part, I suppose, first, which is my week, and then I'll hit your topics after that. Project updates. So my warehouse that I'm building, we've had a few good wins there. So the panels were lifted up the week before last. And then we had the roof guys, the steel guys came in, did all the steel work. The roof guys have been in there all week, and they've put up all the mesh across the top of the roof, getting all the sissilation and that ready. And they've already craned up all their sheets, which they're going to, and they did all the plumbing as well. So all the pipes that are going to go out towards the front of the factory have all been hung on each side of the building. So I saw that today, and yeah, they're ready to do their sheets, which I think they're going to do this week, pretty much Monday, Tuesday. And then the caulking guy was there on the weekend, so he's been caulking the gaps between all the walls, and all the concreters are there patching up, doing any patchwork and that. So it's all systems go. Got to adjust this mic, sorry. All right. Also, what else? We had temporary power finally installed, so that's all done. And then what else was there? The roof plumbers, steel work, yeah, installed the mesh, caulking. Yeah, well, that's basically it for Spaldings, and there's going to be a few other things after that. We've got window guys coming out to do their measurements and all this other stuff. The basement job, so most of you have been watching me work there during the week. All the shot cleaning's done in the first section. They've already put up all the hollow core panels across the top. The lids, it's all been lidded off on that first section. Now I've been working towards the front of the basement where there's going to be some retaining walls, and I've been digging out that area. So I dug down 3.5 meters, whatever it was, deep, and then to the basement level, and then started doing footings there as well. So now I'm doing footings for those retaining walls, and then this week we're going to be doing all the plumbing work in the front section, and that's going to be where the actual house is going to sit on, all around that lift shaft. So thank you to everyone who's been following me during the week. We had a few good laughs on there. Had the builder there breaking my balls, following me around and getting me to cut 5 mil, 2 mil, 3 mil. And everyone's having a bit of a laugh, which is it's good to see. It keeps my day going. I love these live sessions during the week. It makes my day go a lot quicker. People will bring up topics like we do here, and then we just casually talk about different things. And yeah, my days go a lot quicker, and it's good interaction. You know what I mean? Good conversations. So I'd rather be doing that than listening to the radio. Radio gets a bit boring, a bit repetitive. So thank you to everyone that does join during the week. And if you haven't, make sure you look out for it. I just do it randomly throughout the day, mainly on TikTok. So sorry for the Insta guys. every time I put Instagram on during the week, not many people join. So that's why TikTok, I get heaps more. So that's why I've been focusing on TikTok during the week. I see a lot of people asking questions. I will get to those. Let me just finish up these last bits. Also, at the basement job, I had my 5-tonner up on the top level and dug out where the swimming pool is going to go. Did all the footings and all that for that too. So and a pool house and other stuff. So big project there, man. Very big project. Still a little bit more to go. I reckon I'll be there for another week or so. And then we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll have to come back later and do some of the other landscaping and whatever later on. But that 14.5-ton case I've been using has been really, really good. And Tony Soprano is saying that he's got the 14.5 and he loves it. So no, I agree, man. Very good machine. So thanks for joining. We've got National Plant Hire, Stephen Cardona, JT Heavy Diesel, Earthworks is back, MOBA, Civil Track, heaps of guys on Insta. We've got Tony Soprano, Chill with C, Neil Sutherland, heaps of people here on Cooper, the heavy operator Mitchell Anderson, yeah, and so forth. So heaps of people. Thank you very much for joining. My posts that I did this week, you probably saw I was repping at one of my kids' soccer games. I was repping Melbourne Tractors. I sent out a photo wearing all their gear. So thanks to Melbourne Tractors for providing me with the jacket and the hat and some other stuff. So I had to rep for them. I did some posts on the footings that I've been digging, which I was just talking about. And then I did some footage of me in that case 14.5-tonner. Absolute magic machine, man. I love it. I do prefer to be in that 14-tonner over my 5 because I have to admit, as soon as I was in my 5-tonner digging that pool section out, I got home and I had a sore back. But when I was in the 14-tonner, it was a bit more sort of smooth. It wasn't getting bounced around. So I do actually prefer being in that 14-tonner. And then, yeah, like I said, I did my lives during the week. And I appreciate everyone that joined. So what I will do, and my podcasts. So apart from these live sessions, I do podcasts with guests. I've been putting them off a little bit lately because I've been so flat out on these projects. I've got a whole list of people I need to speak to. So I need to take a couple of days to do that in the next week or so. So there will be a whole bunch of new podcasts with guests coming out very shortly. It's just very hard when you're trying to work and then do all the editing after hours, and that just painful. So give me a chance and you will see some more very shortly. So let me go to my topic. So this is a topic that somebody brought up. Actually, one of the dads at my kids' soccer brought it up, and we were talking because he's in the same sort of industry. He brought it all up, and we're saying, why don't you tell people about some of the stories where you've put your safety at risk just to try and keep a customer happy? And it started getting me thinking, and the funny thing is, as soon as I started thinking about it, I can name a lot of times where customers have asked me, especially in residential, and a lot of people can probably resonate with this, how a lot of times, just to try and keep the customer happy and keep the job going, we actually put our own safety at risk. And a couple of times I've done it and actually put some of my workers at risk. And I don't know what it is. I suppose it's in that moment you want to keep the customer happy and you want to try and get more work from them and show them that you're willing to do stuff for them. So you take that extra step. But a lot of times you don't actually think about what the risks are that are involved and how you could risk killing yourself. You could kill yourself or get severely injured as a result. So in a minute, I'll ask people. So maybe start writing down if you've got any situations that you've had that you've put yourself in because the customer wanted you to finish something, and we'll go through it. But first, I can give you 2 stories. So one, and I still as a result of it, I still get pain in my foot from it. But there was an instance where actually it's funny. One of my customers asked me to do some work in his backyard. So he had a backyard that sloped back downwards at the back. So the front of the house was a single story, the back of the house was a double story, if that makes sense. So they had some concrete stairs that sort of came from the top story and led down to the bottom level in the back. And he was going to put a swimming pool and some other stuff and do some landscaping in the back there. So he said, we need to dig out all the backyard, and then we need to remove that staircase. And being an old house, everything in that backyard or every part of the house was built really solid. So I had my posi track there. It was my Terex PT60, open cab, posi track. I brought it down the back, cleaned out all the back area. Then we tried to use that to try and push the concrete stairs, and we unbolted them from the house. And for some reason, they just would not move. I think in the end, they had Rio going into the actual bricks as well, so they were like really firm. And what we did was we're trying to push the stairs up and down and knock them, and they wouldn't move. And there was one steel pole also that was holding the stairs up. So the pole was probably like, I don't know, two meters long, and that was bolted to the concrete underneath the stairs, and then bolted to like midway through the steps. So we undid the bolts, and we tried to undo the bolts, and a couple of them were still stuck. And then we thought, you know what, we'll just bend that pole back a little bit, and the stairs might drop down. So I didn't have any chains on me. I had my tip truck then, so I didn't have any chains to use. And I said, you know what, we'll just go and get some of the ratchet straps that I've got, and we'll tie them to the pole. So we tied the ratchet straps on one end to that pole, tied the other end of the ratchet strap to the bucket, at the front of the posi track, and I started reversing backwards. So I was facing the stairs. I started reversing backwards and put tension on the ratchet strap. So what I was doing was I was trying to drag that pole to come out, and I didn't want it to come out too far. I just wanted it to sort of bend back a little bit, and then we thought then that way the stairs would just drop. But what happened was I started pulling backwards, and then the ratchet strap almost became like an elastic. So I was dragging back, and then eventually the pole actually, the bolts that were holding it down the bottom snapped. The pole came like straight out from its spot and came flying towards me. So I had the open cab. I could see it in slow motion. This pole was coming straight at me and was like rotating. So one end of it actually what happened was the pole where it was welded to, that's right, where the pole was welded to the bottom, the base, it snapped off there. Sorry, that's right. So the base of it was still bolted, but where the pole was welded to the base snapped off, and the top we already unbolted. So that came loose and came flying straight at me. And because I was using the ratchet straps instead of chains, it became like an elastic. So it flung it at full pelt at me, started coming back at the machine. As I saw it coming, I put my leg and my arm up to sort of protect myself, to shield myself. The pole hit the top of the posi track, the cabin. Then the bottom of the pole spun into the cabin, hit my foot in my, lucky I had my work boots on, and hit my foot on the side of my just under the ankle on my right leg, and went and stabbed under the seat in that little like the gap under the seat, and stabbed and pierced straight through the steel that was holding the seat, and it was sticking out of the cabin. The customer thought from the outside it looked like it stabbed me straight through the stomach, and he was expecting to see me as he came running to see what happened. He was expecting to see that thing piercing straight through my stomach. I felt my foot aching, but just because of the adrenaline, I sort of stood up and sort of got out of the cabin. And we were amazed to see that the pole actually pierced under the seat and went straight through all the thick metal under the seat, and into the sort of underneath that little it's like a little empty chamber under the seat. And then I started feeling my foot aching. And as I looked down, the actual pole had ripped through my boot and actually cracked my foot. So the steel actually cracked my foot, and then it bounced off and actually hit into under the seat cavity. So I ended up having a broken foot. So that, as a result, I had a broken foot, and the machine had to get it all repaired. It dented the top of the cabin, and the stairs didn't come down. Amazingly, the stairs are still there. So yeah, all in all, I could have ended up a lot worse. So that could have actually pierced me through the stomach, could have pierced me straight through the shin. It could have been a lot worse. Luckily, it just bounced off my foot and actually went in under the seat, in the seat cavity, under the seat. So the lesson for me there, one, definitely do not um, try and pull something towards yourself, like reversing back and with the cabin facing what I'm pulling, because that just will come straight at you when it comes loose eventually. It'll come straight at you, which is what happened to me. Secondly, do not use ratchet straps because they become like an elastic because they're not solid. Like a chain would be just solid. I think with a chain it might not have done as much damage, but with the ratchet straps it became like an elastic and just came back at me. It just flung it, and I think it sped up. It sped up how fast it was going to hit me. So that's just one situation where where I can definitely say I was very lucky that it didn't come out worse, and it was just like a situation where I was just rushing to get the job done, keep the customer happy, and get things moving without actually doing it properly. So later on, the proper way was I told him I'll have to come back, came back with the 5 tonner and a hammer and just bashed it all out with a hammer. But to try and help in that time, in that situation, I thought I'll just get the posse and we'll just do it quick. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And that's what happened. It could have been a lot worse. So that is one situation where I put myself at risk. So I'll move on to another story, and then, like I said, I'll open it up to you guys. So if anyone's got examples, get ready to start writing those. And the job I'm doing right now in that basement, we've got a 3 meter, 3.5 meter deep basement. So they're going to have a retaining wall on the outer perimeter, and that's going to be like 500 mil away from the dirt. So there's going to be that little gap there. So when you do that gap, you need to have an Aggie pipe at the bottom of it. You need to have screenings. You need to tank or waterproof the wall. So I was doing a job for a customer, and I was there with one of my workers, and we had the same thing. We had a retaining wall. It was about 3 meters tall, 3 meters high, and we obviously dug the wall back about 500 mil to leave a little bit of a gap between the wall and the soil. And then his labourers didn't turn up, so he was like, "Oh, can you guys just help me out? Please, just get in there and just dig." We had a little bit of excess dirt in there, so he wanted the Aggie pipe to be lower than the rebate of the because we did like a little concrete footing. He wanted the Aggie pipe to be under the footing, so we had to go in, clean out some dirt. So I went in there with my worker, both of us in there, in a 500 mil gap. It might have even been a little bit less. This thing was 3 meters high, and we're working away in there digging and stuff, and soil was sort of falling in. All this time, the builder never came in there. He just stood up at the top watching us. But it never occurred to me. I was just trying to get the job done. We got in there, we started digging it all out, and then he said, "Oh, while you're in there, can you guys just run the Aggie pipe for me as well? Since my labourers aren't here, I'll just keep paying it, just keep going." So we ended up staying there. Thanks for following, William. And then we continued the job. And then we finished everything, got out, got the machines, started loading everything back onto the truck, and then we heard like some sort of we heard like movement or something. Like it almost sounded like not an earthquake, but we just heard some noise from the behind the house that we were working on. So we went to go have a look, and half of that soil that was behind the retaining wall came loose and fell in and filled in all that gap where we were just standing. And in my head, I just thought, imagine if we were still in there and that happened while we were in there. We'd be dead. We'd be finished. That's a 3 meter high wall with soil on the other side of it. So imagine a little 500 mil gap, and we're walking in there, and all that dirt just collapsed in. We'd be dead. We're finished. And in my head, I just went in there, and I made my worker come in there with me. And he even said to me, "I don't think this is right. We shouldn't be in here." And I said to him, "Oh yeah, I know, but we'll just get it done quickly and we'll go." Just getting it done quickly and go, it could have been the end of both of us. So imagine if I just got out and he was still in there, and then that collapsed, and I'd have to ring his wife and tell her that I told your husband to go in there, and as a result, he's dead. So, and then I thought, well, this builder was just up there the whole time watching. He never actually got in there with us, and I thought that's because he was thinking, "Oh, these guys are are idiots. They're going to go in. So just let them go in. So there's a lesson in there. I think for me, definitely, I would never ever do that again. And the job I'm working on right now, I know it's going to be the same thing. There's going to be a small gap between the wall and the 3 meter wall and the dirt. But I am not going in there. I can tell you that. That is definitely not for me. So that is two stories where I can say to try and keep the customer happy, I went beyond what we supposed to be doing, and as a result, could have ended up dead or severely injured. So there's a lesson out there for everyone. Do not do any dangerous things. Even if you think, oh, I'm just going to be in there quick, especially that all that dirt caving in, that could have been that could have happened after 5 minutes when we're in there. So yeah, definitely lessons in there for me, and definitely lessons for everyone else. So I hope everyone takes something out of that. So yeah, so that's my topic. I've got another one here which I can say if people are still riding. Actually, I'll tell you that one quickly as well. I can see some questions now coming through. Another one is I got to a job and the customer wanted us to, I can't remember what it was. He wanted us to do some work, and he was rushing us and saying, "Oh no, we got to unload," because we unloaded. That's right. We got to the job. We unloaded the machine. So I unloaded my 5 tonner off the tip truck with the ramps and everything, and we're ready to go. And he said, "No, you need to put it back on. Then we need to get to the other side. You need to go around the block and enter from the rear because we're going to be working in the back section." And I was like, "All right." And he's like, rushing us. So I was there with my worker, one of my workers, and I remember just in haste, I thought, "Oh, we've got to be quick." I put the ramps on, and then we couldn't remember where the pins were. I think we put them back inside the cabin of the truck. And I said, "Oh, don't worry about the pins. We'll just load it up without them." And as usual, when you just say, "Don't worry about it, it'll be fine," we went up, and one of the ramps slid back, and the machine fell sideways and didn't tip fully, but almost almost tipped over. And somehow I saved it, and I think the bucket latched onto the side of the tipper or something, and we saved it somehow. But that could have been another situation where it could have been a lot worse. I could have tipped it, could have squashed myself, could have squashed my worker if he was there, damaged the machine, damaged the truck, all to try and hurry up to get this machine moved, just so we can help the customer move his project along. So it's not worth it, man. If anyone is listening and has similar situations, share your stories. But definitely use these experiences as examples of what you should not be doing. So that's 3 stories there for you guys. So we had a few questions earlier. Let me just track back a little bit. So let's have a look. Actually, let me just have a bit of a drink there. 1 minute. Hope everyone's had a good week. All right, here we go. So we had the heavy operator was asking a question. Before we say that, Mitchell Anderson saying that he's finally listened to all my podcasts right from the start. Very good. Legend. Thank you for doing that. And if anyone else hasn't listened to all the podcasts, go back and have a listen. Yeah, definitely. All right, so the heavy operator is saying, topic, how much the industry has dropped with work the last few months and why it's so hard now. And he's written in brackets, Sydney. So I'm in Melbourne. I can tell you in Melbourne, it's definitely dropped. We had a conversation either last week or the week before where people were saying that some of the other states don't seem to be suffering as much. So people in Adelaide were saying that there's still plenty of work in Adelaide. Some people in Brisbane were saying there's still a lot of work. But definitely Melbourne, and then from what you're saying in Sydney as well, there's definitely a big lull in work, and I think it's going to be here for a while. I was saying last time as well that even now, like a lot of it is that people aren't building. People aren't buying properties and building them, buying blocks and building. So developers aren't really selling. A lot of the big civil companies obviously then are not hiring us. So then it just sort of keeps like a domino effect, keeps going out, and the ripple effect, I suppose you call it. So even if people do gain confidence, we have a few rate drops and people start building, again, it's going to be a while before that happens. So they're going to have to buy the blocks, then they're going to have to wait till they're released, get plans made, build the house. So that takes months. So it could be a year or two before, if anyone even starts the process now, before we actually start seeing an increase in housing getting built again. And then we start getting busier again with the machines. So I think it's going to be like this for a while. So we need to all really dig in, try and make as many savings as you can, try and build yourself a bit of a buffer, because I think it's only going to get worse, man. And if you've got workers and that, I said this last time, my hat goes off to you, because it's gonna be tough, because you're gonna have to keep paying your workers whether you got work or not, and yeah, just find ways to sustain things, because don't keep buying stuff and all that at the moment, because you're just gonna get stuck with it. So I'm seeing a lot of machines up for sale now. You look at Facebook Marketplace, there's heaps on there for sale, even on the construction sales. A lot of people are putting their machines up for dry hire. There's a lot of people saying that they're just operating now, asking if, even if they're parking up their machines and operating for other people. So there's a lot of stuff happening that's indicating that it's just going to get worse. So yeah, definitely, there is a big slowdown in industry, and even maybe some of the big major projects are slowing down. So I don't know, it's tough. It's tough. And now we're coming into winter, the wetter season. A lot of guys in Queensland are suffering. They're getting heaps of rain up there. So yeah, it's gonna be a tough probably year, I reckon. Yeah, I estimate it's gonna be a really tough year. Who else was there? So Neil Sutherland was asking if Case are a good excavator. Tony Soprano was saying that he's got one, a 14.5, similar to what I've been using. I think they're good. I haven't had any bad experiences with Case. Every Case machine I've used, so I've had a 5.5 I've used a 5.5 Case, a Case Positrack, a Case 14.5, a Case 13 with a 130B, whatever it was, and even a Case 23 tonner and a Case 30 tonner, I think I used, or 35, and always good machines. So nothing wrong with them. I think they're awesome. And yeah, someone was saying here that they are a Sumitomo in disguise, so they're very good. Somebody else wrote, so let's have a look. Here we go. So WF Slashing is saying, is there a high need down south for long-term council contracts, or is it more in-house in Melbourne? For the council contracts, I've got someone that does a lot of contract work for them. And what they're saying is that there's like a panel. So the council has formed like a panel of 5 or 6 contractors, main contractors that they use. So they go through a process to try and select them. And then those contractors get first dibs to quote on any new council work. And then from there, the council will try and pick which one is the winner. So I don't know if it's always price, but it could be like, who can actually get to the work, get to the job. And then what I'm hearing from my source is that there's a lot of contractors that are on that panel, but actually can't meet the demands. So, the guys that can meet it are getting most of the work. So, yeah, I think if you're talking about council contracts and that, there's already like a set panel, and that makes it very hard for new contractors to break in and start doing any of their council work. And then the other thing is all the paperwork that's necessary, all the red tape. Like I know they've got to have all their JSAs, their SWIMs. They've got to have all their ISO accreditations, and they've got all these things that they need to have in order to even get on that panel. And then they've got to consistently update those things. So there's a lot of red tape involved. That's what I'm hearing from my sources. Um, so, and the council does have a lot of their own equipment, but more like the little civil jobs that they offer. That's mainly for like that group that's in the panel. So yeah, here we go. Yeah, so WFS Slashing is saying, yeah, usually under 5K, it's preferred provider, or over 15, council has to offer it to 5 contractors. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so yeah, I know they've got like a set panel here, and I've done a little bit of work with them, and it's okay. It's actually not well, I suppose I didn't have to deal with all that paperwork. My mate had to do that, so I just came in and helped him with the job. But Yeah, I know he did tell me there was a lot of paperwork to get to that point, and then they consistently have to keep updating. Yeah, so and then apparently if you don't quote enough jobs with them, so if you know say that you can't quote this one, then you can't quote the next one, and then they eventually just say, well, you can't be on the panel anymore. So yeah, you got to also keep quoting all the time, even if you think you can't get to it, you still got to keep providing quotes. So it's a bit pretty intense, pretty intense. Ah, I tell you what, that's good on a Sunday night. All right, so yeah, so there you go. So yeah, the council contracts, yeah, definitely more sort of niche. You know, you got to be as one of those panel members. What else was there? So any questions here? So the TikTok guys are all asking. Anyone from Instagram got any questions? Please make sure that you ask. While people are still looking or writing their questions down, I'll just remind everyone that you can buy merch and represent Earthworks Hub. So definitely go to www.earthworkshub.com.au and go to the store or go to shop in the top right hand corner, and it will take you to the store and you can buy hoodies, t-shirts. I tried to do hats. I was saying last time as well, I tried to do hats, but I need to learn how to convert a file, like a picture file, into an embroidery file. So it's a bit of a pain because they don't do just printed hats. They have to actually, they only do embroidery. So I've got to try and work that out to be able to do hats and beanies. So once I do that, you'll be able to get some of that stuff as well, which would be good for winter, I suppose. Yeah, getting the beanies. So yeah, but definitely go. You got t-shirts. You got t-shirts with the sponsors all on the back if you want something a bit more, you know, sort of with more stuff on it. Or if you like it more plain, then you've got ones with just Earthworks Hub on the front. And these hoodies they're really good too. They're warm. I wear one all the time. I love it. So they're good material, good quality, not cheap crap. Um, the website, we've had some new listings. Let me go to the website. So while you guys are all looking at what you want to write, this week we've had, so a new business has been listed as well on Earthworks Hub, which is Graham's Earthworks, and that is in Picton, New South Wales. 1-800 hose van in Adelaide. And that's it. So we've had two this week. So a quieter sort of week, but two new listings on there. So make sure you guys add yourselves on there. No matter what you do, you don't have to just do specifically earthworks or excavations. You can actually be anything to do with earthworks, concreters, surveyors. You can do tree removal, pool diggers, anything. So dry hire companies, you can be selling machinery, anything like that. Even a finance company, everything to do with earthworks, you can put it on there and list it. So make sure you go on. We've got EMBE, Echuca, Moema, Bobcat Excavator Hire. So hopefully you guys have seen our podcast and listened to that. So young Jack has a question. Any workwear provider should be able to put your logo into stitches to send to the hat company. Thank you very much for the advice. I might have to go and hit one of them up, because I did read somewhere that you can get you can buy like a program that will do it for you, but I don't know, I didn't go that much further. I've just tracked over my cable here. I might just hook it up over here. All right. No, thank you for that, Jack. Thank you so much. All right. So what else have we got? Anyone else got any feedback for the week or any other comments? Let me go back to my little notes here. Okay. Also, yeah, don't forget to go to YouTube and subscribe. So if you go to Earthworks Hub in the YouTube channel, subscribe, press the little icon with the bell on it so that you can find out whenever new videos come up. Make sure that you are following on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You can also join the Facebook group. So I've got a couple of plans there for any group members. So make sure that you are a group member to get some extra benefits. And like I said, there are a couple of really good podcasts that I'm working on. I've got to just line up the time, I suppose. So I think now that I'm coming to the end of this basement project, I might allocate a few days off to go and just catch up with these people and finish off a whole bunch of them. So look out for that. What else? We had a few good topics last time. We had, you know, tilt hitch versus tilt bucket. Then we had rubber tracks versus rubber pads. Anybody else want to ask or set up like a discussion? What do you want to talk about? Anybody got any stories of where they put themselves at risk to try and help a customer out? I can tell you some more stories if you want. I've done it a lot of times, which is pretty bad, but it happens. It happens. It's, like I said, we don't think about it at that moment. But there's been heaps of times where I've had machines right up on the edge of like a 3 meter drop, trying to clean out the last bit, at the bottom, not thinking like, what happens if the machine tips over. I've had machines tip over where I've picked up a bucket full of crushed rock and tried to like in my 5 tonner with a full bucket, put it all the way out to the side and tip it into a trench. And then because it gets so heavy, it actually tilts the machine over. Um, I've had operators roll my posi tracks. So I had one guy come down some ramps, come down forward. So he was reversed up into the tip truck. And then when we were unloading it, he was coming out forward, had the smudge bar up in the air too high to try and see the ramps. And as he got out of the tip truck and tipped forward onto the ramps, the weight of the smudge bar tipped the whole machine forward. So the actual smudge bar hit the ramps, and then he slid down the ramps with the tip of the tracks and the smudge bar sliding all the way to the bottom. And then the actual screen, the actual door was almost hard up against the ground. So when the machine turned off by itself, he actually tried to open the door and couldn't get himself out. And then somehow he got out and squeezed through and just left the machine like that. So I had to go and recover the machine. So just little things like that can happen, just when you're not expecting it. Here we go, 1 second. Earthworks excavations. He's the topic king. Not to bag out machine manufacturers, but what's the worst machine you've ever been on? Or oldest you've ever operated? Oof. Excavations, thanks for joining. So the question Earthworks has just asked is, what's the worst machine I've ever been on? I suppose when you say worst, I suppose you mean like something I got on and I thought this is just a hunk of junk. Like it doesn't want to move, doesn't have power. I don't know. I haven't really sat in anything too old and that I've actually said to myself, this thing's rubbish. I know a friend of mine bought himself an old 1.6 or 1.4 ton little Komatsu, like an imported one. And that thing was like, it wasn't probably the manufacturer's fault. It was thrashed. So like the pins were so loose and so worn on it that the bucket was just really loose, and it was almost like a tilt hitch, when the pins are that loose that you put the bucket down at any angle and you can scrape. It had no power, and then when we checked the filters, they were that filthy that no one had probably ever blown those filters out or changed them in years. At the cabin, it had no cab, so it was an open cab machine, but all the roof had been removed and never been put back on. So had no sort of rollover protection. It had not much guts in it. He got it cheap. It was like a farm machine, but he got it to do some footings once, and he said, "Oh, don't worry about bringing your machine. I've got one. We'll just use mine." And that was a big mistake. I had to go and use that thing. I killed myself on it. So that's probably one. I mean, I can't blame Komatsu. It's like a Komatsu import, so it was like a baby blue color Komatsu or purple. So one of those imports. But that's probably not the manufacturer's fault. Actually, you know what? I will say something about a Komatsu. I bought a PC78, so a Komatsu PC78. There you go. There is one Earthworks. I bought a Komatsu PC78 from someone, and the 8 tonner with rubber pads. So I spent all this money. I put brand new rubber pads on it, resprayed the whole machine. Um, when I bought it, it felt like it was really, really slow. I felt like there was something wrong. So I thought once I change all the hydraulic oil, change everything, and all the oil filters and that, it might run a bit better. And I did all that, did everything we could, and it still kept going really slow. Like I didn't have enough power to actually lift itself. So if you put your bucket down in front of you, it wouldn't lift. If you try and try and scrape a bunch of material and fill the bucket and then try and lift it up, it would take forever to lift up towards yourself. Took forever to slew around. Um, Somebody told me that they use transmission oil, like a form of transmission oil, as hydraulic oil on that Komatsu. They don't use actual normal hydraulic oil. So I looked into it and I bought this really, really thin, like almost transmission fluid that somebody recommended. Changed all the hydraulic fluids. It was actually worse. It was worse because they were saying, oh, you can't put thick oil in that. You can't put hydraulic 46 or 68. So I put that in there, still ran like a piece of crap. Then we called Komatsu. They said, oh, we can adjust the pumps and make it a bit more powerful. Had someone come out. They said that they changed it. When I got back in the machine, it was just the same. So that machine, I kept it for as long as I could, put up with it, and then in the end, I sold it. So I did tell the guy I sold it to. I said it runs really slow. I don't know if it's because of the oil. I don't know what it is. So I did give it to him a little bit cheaper, but yeah, for some reason that machine ran really slow. Now I did mention that somewhere on one of my other podcasts, and somebody wrote they have a PC78 or a PC88, and it was also slow. So maybe people can shed some light on that. But yeah, Earth Force. I think that little Komatsu import, probably not so much the machine's fault. Probably just whoever operated it in the past let it all go. But as for the Komatsu PC78, I found that really, really slow. Like, not enough power. For an 8 ton machine, my 5 tonner would run rings around that. It was just very, very slow. So, and gutless. So, yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, you guys um, can shed some light on that. Has anyone used a Komatsu PC78? No one's saying anything. Let me check who we still got on here. I hear Earth Force is still on there. Let me see over here. Oh, we got the Dirt Pirate on. Dirt Pirate, thank you for joining. Loving your videos, man. I love those blocks that you make your own blocks. Oh, it looks like you make your own blocks. That's really good. I like that. Like your stuff. Um, who else have we got? Ash Rat Ray, Lucky Barry, Gat Excavations. Where did Mr. Healy go? Hopefully Jack was happy with that answer about the workwear. So I will have to go and talk to a workwear company maybe to try and get the embroidery file made. So yeah, like I was saying earlier, make sure you do list your businesses on Earthworks Hub. So it's an online business directory. So if you need any contractors or services and that, make sure you go on there and use the guys that are on that website. And that's I should say that now. We're going to be increasing the prices on there soon, so definitely make sure you go on as early as you can or as quick as you can, and list your business on there because the pricing will be going up after June. So definitely make sure you go on there. Oh, we got Zach online. Zach, how you going? Zach actually purchased a couple of t-shirts, so thank you very much for purchasing those. Um, don't forget to send photos of you wearing that stuff, man. What else? Guys, I have another 15 minutes left. So, like I was saying, I'm happy for you guys to talk about any certain topics that you have. It can be about machines, again, earthworks. It doesn't have to be about that. It can be about cars, whatever you like, but mainly earthworks, if possible. But yeah, open to all suggestions. Any feedback on these live sessions? Is everyone happy with the way they're going? I have been uploading them as podcasts every week, I have to admit, because they're over 1 hour, the computer really struggles to upload. So I've got like last week's episode has been uploading for 4 days already. It's been uploading to YouTube for 4 days. I don't know why, it's just getting longer and longer. I think because they're just big files. And I've been trying to work out ways to try and do it a bit quicker, but it's just very, very slow at downloading or uploading, I should say. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I'm happy to keep going. If we don't have any more topics, I'm happy to end it here. I just want to make sure everyone knows it's 8 o'clock now every Sunday. So I've set the schedule on Instagram, TikTok. I couldn't work out if it does let you do a schedule, but I couldn't find it. If anyone knows, let me know if there's a schedule that you can set. But definitely make sure that you do tune in 8 o'clock on Sundays. Like I said, it's just going to be for an hour, a chat about the week, and then a topic, and then I do open it up to you guys as usual. So I do look forward to these events. Also, make sure that you join me on my weekdays as well. So I do live sessions while I'm operating during the week, and yeah, we do. I actually have a really good laugh during those sessions. Um, I hope everybody has a good week. I might wrap it up then. Make sure that you guys are keeping safe. So use some of my stories. Keep those at the back of your mind when before you do something for one of your customers. Make sure that you're not putting yourself at risk, or your workers or anyone else on site, because sometimes we can forget about that. Oh, we got Steve Stoikovsky. Steve Stoikovsky. That's how I say it during the week. He's saying, "Tell me you finished that shale job." I wish I could tell you I finished. It's just getting worse. Now they want me to stay there and do the plumbing. So I will be scratching this week. So join in and watch me scratching again, and watch my customer break my chops for 20 mil here, 20 mil there. Steve joins me during my weekdays and has a bit of a laugh. The material that I'm working with in that basement is so solid. It's full mudstone or shale clay. It's so solid that I'm using the ripper, and I'm using tiger teeth, everything I can to try and break through this material. And eventually it does, but it's just a process, a big process. So yeah, no, unfortunately, Steve, I have to go back there. So yeah, you'll see me tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be loading out trucks. We've got a couple of trucking trailers again. And then while in between that, so the customer, it's not enough for me just to be loading. In between that, I've got to be digging for the plumbers and digging those footings, and and loading trucks. Yeah, it doesn't stop, man. Yeah, my favorite job. Yeah, Steve saying it's my favorite. So yeah, no, I look forward to seeing you during the week again. Guys, I am gonna wrap it up. It seems a little bit quiet, so I don't want to just babble on. If there's anything else, let me know. Otherwise, forever hold your peace. I've even still got a bit of scotch. I've been going slow. Irish whiskey, sorry. Ah. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up then. Yeah, I wish you all a safe week. Be good. And I'll see you all on next week's episode. Take care, guys.